I also exchanged a crack shot. I'm here with Tom Jacobs. We've just recently started sponsoring Tom for his bench press shooting. So today we're just going to go through what you can do if you want to come into a shop, get set up, and get into bench press shooting. So first question, Tom, how do we get into bench press?
Well, what I would recommend starting off is finding a local club, inquire in there, see what they've got facility-wise and stuff, and get your foot in the door and just say, look, I want to try this, and can you help me? Follow their guidance, their recommendations, and go along with a few sessions and see what they recommend. So
there's plenty of air gun clubs around. I think most will probably accommodate bench press. Is there any ones that stand out in the southwest?
Southwest, I know Ashcombe have got a little bit of bench press table, don't they? Yeah, they can do that. I mean, your crack shot here upstairs, more than happy to practice here inside. Really good indoors for doing pellet testing, trying different things with rifles, because there's so many different ways you can improve actually doing bench press. It's just often overlooked as indoor time. It needs to be.
Yeah.
You need to do a lot of it. Surprising. But yeah, I mean, you've got just look around, just find a good bench press place where there's a lot of people and you can learn a hell of a lot from a club. Yeah.
So when we're talking guns now, because the first question someone's going to do when they come into the shop, they want to get into the bench press, they're going to want to know what gun to use, where to start. Obviously, everyone has varying budgets. You always have a person that is happy to spend lots of money and get what they like, and you're always going to have someone who wants to sort of try it but isn't willing to spend loads of money. So what sort of things would you say is a good starting place and progression through sort of shooting?
Yeah, so starting off with, just get your foot in the door with something. I mean, you can start off with a Springer doing it at club level. When you get on the further along the shooting, you'll need to move to something a bit more target oriented. But if you want to start off with something really good, S400, prime example. There's still people that regularly win competitions with this. Incredibly accurate, good shot capacity, just hits all the buttons. Really.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, through normal club shooting, plinking, people just getting into shooting, the S400's always been there. So you'd say that for a good starting gun, the S400 would be a really good place to start?
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, an S400 you could go as far as you want to a point, and then you'll have to move to something more target orientated for it, but it will get you going more than well off.
So if you wanted to go to something a bit more target orientated, what sort of is the next step up from an S400?
So next at S400, sticking with the air arms thing, is HFT 500. Very, very good, very accurate, brilliant rifles. Very easy to adapt to bench press as well, because you've got the nice rail underneath as well. You have a block on it. With bench press, we're allowed at the 3-inch width on the front, so it helps stability quite a bit. But yeah, they're just really good. There's a lot of people that use them, national, international level. You just can't go wrong with them. Brilliant, great accuracy out of them, good shot count. Ergonomics are great on it. It's just a good rifle, just a very good rifle.
And I suppose there is a lot more adjustability on that over the S400, so taking it up that little step further, that is possibly a very good option to start with. And also when we get into like the sort of top end stuff, so you're at HFT 500 for a year, you've shot it for a year, and you think, actually I could just do a little bit more than HFT 500. Obviously there's a few different options. If you talk us through what we've got here, and where else you can go, where else you can go.
Yeah. So if from here on HFT, the next one will be a very target-orientated rifle. These are great, and these are designed for HFT, and they're amazing for that, and they will get you far with bench. But to then go to something like the style we've got here, the Challenge HFT, it's another step up. Yeah, obviously it's more than HFT, but you've got a much more refined trigger on it. You've got a stabilizer on it as well, so it's anti-recoiling. You've got obviously a lot more adjustable on the ergonomics of the rifle. Again, very easy to adapt to bench, what we do with a 3-inch plate, because you've got the nice rail again. Shot count's good, and also you can, unlike the HFT, you can velocity tune this. So a lot of what we do for bench rest, you can find the best pellets for the rifle, and then fine tune through the speed to get just that little bit more out of it. It's just another step up. It's like a difference between Formula 2, still amazingly good, and for your Formula 1 rifles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously you touched on pellets a little bit there and tunability to pellets. Obviously pellets are going to play a massive factor in bench rest shooting. I don't think there's any pellets that sort of stand out as better bench rest pellets, but what sort of things are we looking for bench rest, and what are we looking for from pellets and accuracy in general from these guns?
So, big rule with pellets, just doesn't matter what they are. They can literally be your cheap £5 tins, or the ones that are like a JSB premium box, I think they're like 17, 18 pound a box. As long as the rifle likes it, that's the main important thing. And that's, again, indoor testing here, perfect place for it. And then it's just, once you've got that perfect one inside, try it outside. You might find, actually, it's amazing inside with those, but it's really struggling outside because of the wind. The bench rest I do is outside normally. Some pellets will be, like I said, very good inside, but they will take a lot of windage on the target. And then you've got to obviously hold off more chance of missing a target as such. For me personally, I go for like a middle ground, like a 9.5 grain pellet. H&M Barracuda FT's very, very good. I don't weigh them. A lot of people do weigh the pellets and stuff. It's just not needed. They're just incredibly consistent. The sizing on them as well, I don't size them almost straight from the tin pretty much. If it's a comp, I might weigh them just for peace of mind, but it's really not needed. I mean, you won't check any out of a tin.
So generally what you're saying is you'll shoot pellets and just look for downrange accuracy rather than trying to make your pellets better.
Yes.
You're just looking to find a pellet that will shoot perfectly from scratch from your gun.
Yep.
So obviously, once you've got your gun, you've got your pellets, you're going to be looking to obviously put something on the top to make it work. Now, obviously, again, this all works down to budget and obviously what people can use, but is there anything that sort of stands out as like the top bench rest scope, like the best things you can use, and other things that do work just as well?
So if you're, should we start at base example? Vectroptic Sentinel X, they, I think around £160 or whatever they used to be, I don't know if they are now. Incredibly good. They will get you wherever you want to go in bench rest. Brilliant. The clarity is not as good as, say, a mid or upper range scope.
Yeah.
For example, the next one I would go to then is Cyclone 36x42 and S2.
Okay.
Very light scope, which is important for the bench rest because we do have weight restrictions on some of it. Very good glass. They've obviously put more effort into the glass because it's fixed magnification. And then from there, I would say the Cyclone 45x45, which is their S3, was like a newer updated model. 1/10 MOA adjustment, so it's a lot. Just get that little extra fine bit of adjustment, which we're trying to get as much accurate as possible. Crystal clear, just good scope, just really good scope.
So obviously you said the 36 by, I think was it
42?
42, yeah, and a 45x45. So having a fixed magnification scope isn't a problem. You don't really need to worry about having too much, variable.
No.
Or is there anything that you think is a better magnification range if you were to have a variable mag scope?
So variable mag, I think it seems to be around 35 to 45 is like the magic area for magnification. It seems to give you the best balance of everything, what you can get. With the fixed mag scope, it's obviously you've got less internals to worry about on heat changing a day and stuff like that. I'd probably say 95% of the bench rest shooters I shoot with will have a fixed mag scope.
Okay.
Just for that reason, and also the weight, because we're so close on the weight anyway.
So just to keep the weight down for the weight classes, you'll go for a fixed mag and also, just for the temperature stability and bits and pieces as well.
Yeah, because obviously with the lightweight scope, we're trying to keep weight down as far down as possible on the rifles to have less movement on the top. Less chance of that.
Okay. So obviously we've got a couple of different rests. Now obviously this will vary through how people shoot and different shooting styles. So obviously you've got a bag, we've got a cheaper NTM rest, and we've got the rock. What's the pros and cons of say having a bag over the multi-adjustable rest we've got here.
Yeah, so the bag, similar as I put it, you put it on the bench, it's there.
Yeah.
You're ready to shoot. I mean, you can still do amazing scores just off the bag, no problem at all. Where this comes into its own is it improves repeatability shot to shot.
Okay.
So a lot of people get the misconception that the rests, like the mechanical rests like this, they will improve accuracy. It's not the case. It's more getting consistency from your next shot to your next shot even. Because you don't have the possibility of you haven't got a chance of it being a back and forth in a different position, because what you'll do is you'll put the forehand and the stock up to the stop hitter. It's just repeatability. That's the main thing of bench rest, is just everything consistent. So you know what it's going to do in certain situations.
So a question I've always had, which sounds simple, I've never managed to get my head around it. How are you moving the gun to your next target? So if your targets are in different rows, how are you moving the gun? Are you manually moving the gun? Are you using the rest to move the gun? And obviously that's going to depend on what rest you've actually got, what you can do and how you do it. For me, wrapping my little head around it, I'd always use my fist pumping it and releasing it to get the gun up and down.
Yeah.
How would you do it with a rest like this when the gun's sort of sat in there for that repeatability?
So when the gun's sat in it, we would go, so first of all, when you've got the rest of the bench, you would set it level off the front to your heel.
Okay.
And then using your course adjustment here, go up with this one, get it to roughly either the bottom or top of the card, and then go for the fine adjustment across the whole card on the back leg.
Right. Okay.
And then left to right on the windage adjustment here.
So is there anything else that you think is a useful thing that people would need to know about getting into bench rest? Is there any other bits of equipment that we have missed out here that you think is an essential, and generally just things that will make bench rest shooting a little bit more enjoyable?
It's going to sound odd, but timer.
Okay.
It sounds odd, I know. So with the bench rest comps we do, you've got 20 minutes to do 25 shots, marked shots in a card, and as many cycles as you want down the side. 20 minutes sounds like a long time, but when you're trying to account for either a lull in the wind or a consistent wind pattern, those 20 minutes go very, very fast.
Yeah.
And always in practice, just put the timer out, 20 minutes, just have it always running every time you shoot a card, and after a while you'll just be consistently pacing yourself through a card and not having to worry about the clock. It's a very overlooked thing.
Okay. So just to quickly touch onto the timer, would you say it's better to use up as much of the time you've got? So if you've got 20 minutes, is it better to use up that 20 minutes? Or if you're comfortable and you're happy to, would you say shooting that card in half the time is a good or a bad thing? Or is it just down to personal preference, how you want to shoot that card?
It's really dictated by how the weather's going on the day. So if we had, say at the beginning of the card, you've got a couple of minutes where the wind's picked up and then it drops for a few minutes, you'll be absolutely racking off your shots as fast as you can. But obviously being very attentive to what's going on downrange to not get caught out, because you can get carried away and miss by a mile then. But likewise say you've got a really windy day and your wind flags are just constantly going like this and then they set up in one direction, you've just got to go for it again.
Yeah.
But also on the other end, I've had it where I've been in competitions and I've literally had 1 second left on the timer, and that's just trying to pick out the perfect shot, because it's not been very consistent, but you'll just for a split second see the right wind pattern and it'll be consistent, but you only get it for that small amount of time, and it's every couple of minutes or something. But then again, you also might have a lull for 5 minutes, and I've done it before. I've not shot for 10 minutes on a card, and just had to the last 5 minutes. It's just settled again, but that's real pot luck. I mean, you're always dictated by the weather. Like what we do with the comps, you have your lane allocated to you on the day, and then for your next card, you have 3 cards on one day. Next card, you'll move across 3 or 4 benches along, and again for the third card, 3 or 4 benches along. Each lane, the wind just does something completely different. So you're having to spend a couple of minutes learning it just to begin with. And
that's just, I suppose, just to keep it fair between all the other shooters, that someone's not sat in a windy lane and someone's sat in a still lane, and the person in the still lane gets higher scores purely because they're a bit more challenging than the weather. Cool. Well, thank you very much for that, Tom.
No worries.
Brilliant.
That's all right.
And hopefully people will now have a bit more of an insight into bench rest. And obviously we'll try and learn a bit more about the bench rest as we go along in the shop.